Welcome to Hunt Florida TV, and on this episode we're going to talk about wild hogs and some of the diseases they can carry and what hunters can do to protect themselves from getting exposed to such disease. Joining us from Gainesville today is FWC's state veterinarian Mark Cunningham. Welcome to the show, Mark. And I guess the main disease for hunters to be aware of is swine brucellosis. So tell us, what is swine brucellosis and how can hunters get potentially exposed to this disease?
Okay, feral swine can carry a number of diseases that are infectious to people and dogs. Swine brucellosis is among the more concerning, and this is a bacterial disease that's carried by about a third or so of feral swine in Florida, and it's infectious to people and dogs through exposure to bodily fluids, undercooked meat, and just general contact with infected feral swine.
Mark, what kind of precautions does the Fish and Wildlife Commission advise hunters to take when butchering and handling wild hog carcasses?
Okay, some precautions that hunters can take to prevent brucellosis and other zoonotic diseases or diseases infectious to people include wearing disposable impermeable gloves, washing very well afterwards with soap and water, decontaminating contact surfaces, things like that, and certainly cooking hog meat thoroughly. Some other precautions include not eating or drinking or smoking, things like that, while butchering game or while preparing it for cooking. So these same precautions need to be taken in the kitchen as well.
Okay, that's good to know. After you finished field dressing or processing the animal, are there any recommended precautions that one should take when cleaning up?
Okay, when cleaning up, the same general precautions should be taken: wearing gloves, not eating, drinking, smoking, anything like that. Decontaminating surfaces, this can be done with a dilute bleach solution. Washing well afterwards is certainly important, and actually labeling and promptly chilling the meat. So if you bag it up, and I would recommend double bagging hog meat, labeling it as hog meat, and getting it into the refrigerator or freezer as quickly as possible.
Okay, yeah, that's real good information to know. As far as cooking wild hog, are there some things to keep in mind that hunters or perhaps their wives need to be aware of when cooking wild hog?
So preparing feral hog meat for food in the kitchen can be just as dangerous as the hogs in the field themselves. So you want to handle it in the same way: wearing gloves, washing well, decontaminating surfaces, things like that. You also want to be very careful about any kind of cross-contamination between raw feral swine meat and other products, especially products or foods that wouldn't be cooked, such as vegetables, things like that. So you want to keep feral swine meat separate from those products, and use different utensils. Make sure to decontaminate all surfaces and utensils and things like that between handling feral swine meat and other foodstuffs. You definitely want to cook to an internal temperature of at least 160 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is extremely important for both brucellosis and other infectious diseases.
Mark, how might someone be concerned that they may have contracted brucellosis? What type of symptoms would they have? And if you were feeling some of these things and thought maybe there was a possibility that you may have been exposed, what can you do about it? What should you do about it?
Okay, symptoms of brucellosis in people can vary, but they can include fever, joint pain, muscle pain, things like that, severe headache. A lot of times these symptoms don't appear for weeks or even months after exposure, and these symptoms can mimic other important diseases like tick-borne diseases, things like that. So definitely want to be cautious. If you have these symptoms, contact your physician immediately and let them know about your history. Let them know that you've handled feral swine, or that you've been in the woods hunting, possibly exposed to ticks, things like that.
You know, another disease I've heard about is pseudo-rabies or mad itch. Is this something hunters should be concerned about?
Pseudorabies is a viral disease that is also carried by feral swine. Like brucellosis, a large proportion of swine in Florida carry the disease. Usually doesn't cause problems in feral swine themselves, and it's not considered infectious to people, so there's been no cases in humans that have been documented. The disease is infectious, or the virus is infectious, to dogs that may be exposed to feral swine that are infected and shedding the virus, or that consume raw feral swine meat. So the disease can be or is fatal in dogs. It begins with an extreme itchiness, and that's where the name mad itch comes from, and this progresses rapidly to coma and then death. It is an invariably fatal disease in dogs, and the disease is not that uncommon in dogs that are used for hog hunting or those that are fed feral swine meat. There's not a vaccine really that's commercially available for dogs to prevent it. So the primary mode of protection or prevention is preventing exposure to infected feral swine, and definitely cooking any feral swine meat that are fed to hunting dogs. For further information, really should contact your local veterinarian, both about pseudorabies virus and brucellosis, the risks of brucellosis to dogs.
All right, I see. Is there anything else, Mark, that you'd like to add to this topic? Where can one go on the internet to find out more information? And we very much appreciate you taking the time to be on the show.
So more information can be found at our website, myfwc.com/wildlife health. I would like to add that only healthy game should be consumed or harvested and consumed. If you see deer or feral swine that appear sick or dead of unknown causes, give us a call on the CWD hotline, and that's a special line that we have set up to monitor for these mortalities and diseased animals, and that number is 1-866-CWD-WATCH, which is 866-293-9282, and we can respond and look into the cause of these mortalities.
Well, folks, that was FWC State Veterinarian Mark Cunningham giving you some tips on how to properly handle wild hogs from the field all the way to the kitchen. So I'm Tony Young. Thank you for tuning in to Hunt Florida TV, and have a great season. Be safe out there. We'll see you next time. Thank you.